So on to the next one. Looks like Trump is gonna go for the hat trick, and he is going to Cuba next after Iran. Let's check this out.
And your next one is going to be, we want to do that special Cuba. He's waiting, but he says, let's get this one finished first. We could do them all at the same time, but bad things happen. If you watch countries over the years, you do them all too fast, bad things happen. We're not going to let anything bad happen to this country.
Great stuff. Great stuff. And then here's Marco Rubio.
When it's Donald Trump, all these Democrats go bonkers.
Is the Cuban government the Trump administration's next target, Mr. Secretary? Very quickly.
Well, the Cuban government is a huge problem. Yeah, the Cuban government is a huge problem. First of all,
is that a yes?
Cuba,
yep.
But I don't think people fully appreciate. I think they're in a lot of trouble, yes. I'm not going to talk to you about what our future steps are going to be and our policies are going to be right now in this regard, but I don't think it's any mystery.
No, of course not. He doesn't have to disclose that to you.
Regime, who, by the way, are the ones that were propping up Maduro. His entire, internal security force, his internal security apparatus is entirely controlled by Cubans. One of the untold stories here is how, in essence, you talk about colonization, because I think you said Dulce Rodriguez mentioned that. The ones who have sort of colonized, at least inside the regime, are Cubans. It was Cubans that guarded Maduro. He was not guarded by Venezuelan bodyguards. He had Cuban bodyguards. In terms of their internal intelligence, who spies on who inside to make sure there are no traitors, those are all Cubans.
Yep. And I just wanted to find out more information about the whole Cuban thing. And I mean, these are just the things that, the Cuban government has done just to their own people. Once again, it's a similar aspect with Iran. It's these dictatorial regimes that will tell the whole world that no, we're not oppressing anybody. In the meantime, it's completely not the case, and once again, the people are suffering under persecution. We'll get into what the Cuban people are doing as a result of Trump, who's got his eye on Cuba, what they're busy doing now because of it. But I mean, this is just asking Grok about it. These abuses are often justified by the government as responses to US sanctions or external threats. That's what they always do. But independent analysis emphasize internal repression as the primary driver. For context, over 650 protests from 2021 remained imprisoned. Protesters from 2021 remained imprisoned as of mid-2025, with many facing sedition charges and sentences up to 25 years. The UN has condemned arbitrary detentions, but the UN doesn't do anything. They just condemn all the time, but they don't actually implement anything. They don't do anything about it. It's typical. And groups like the Inter-American Competition Commission on Human Rights note impunity for perpetrators. While the government released some political prisoners conditionally in 2025, at least 211, many were forced into exile or rearrested, underscoring the lack of systemic reform. Yeah. And here's just a few of the things. If you want, you can pause the video and read that. But once again, it's Trump liberating people under oppression, and it's always the liberals, always the communists, it's always the socialists who are going to make it, but Trump said no more wars. Trump said he's attempting to end war by liberating countries from oppressive dictators. But once again, the left will continually obfuscate and continually blame, let's be real, white people for the ultimate problems in the world. It's always going to be white people. It's always going to be Western people with white skin. They are the ultimate oppressors of all of these oppressive regimes. And somehow, because of their oppression, these oppressive regimes are oppressors. And you can point out facts and you can point out stats. They're uninterested because they've already made up their mind. So yeah, these are the things that are happening in Cuba as a result of Trump and his plans to go to Cuba to once again liberate people, humanitarian efforts. Yeah. Folks are stoked. They're happy. They're tired of it. They want freedom. Of course. Why wouldn't you? I think there's another one. I think they set fire to like a government building or something like that. Yeah, people are fed up. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. Just want to see if there's something else. Cuba is on the verge of... Okay, let's see how this...
President has ever had the chance
Oh,
to...
let's take that back there. Oh no. Ah.
It's to say what no American president has ever had the chance to say before. Welcome to the White House, Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi is, my son said, Dad, you know who's going to be there today? And I said, no, I got a lot of things going on.
Lionel Messi, okay.
He said, Messi. I said, really? He's a big fan. He's a big fan of yours. He thinks you're just a great person, and I think you got to meet a little while. So he's a big soccer fan, but he's a tremendous fan of yours. And a gentleman named Ronaldo. We have Cristiano is great. You're great. Boy, some big champions, some great athletes in that sport, and people that really...
What's the headline about this?
They really love what they're doing, and they're doing it well. And it's an honor for us and everybody at the White House to be honoring you today. So, and it's my distinct privilege to say what...
Fair enough. Cuba is now Representative Rich McCormick. President Trump is literally the most influential foreign dealing president probably in the last lifetime. Yeah, Cuba is now isolated. Venezuela and Iran were its two main supporters, including Russia. Yeah, two who's totally distracted. Yeah. Oh, let's watch this one.
The White House reportedly seeking up to $50 billion in emergency funds. Do you think there's a path to a bipartisan deal here in funding this?
I don't think there's any way around it. You have to pay for this. You certainly don't want to be depleted in this time of the world where there's so much instability. But quite frankly, one of the cool things is, and I think we're going to get through this. I think most people realize how important this is to get done. But I think that you're transforming world politics everywhere. Cuba is now isolated. Venezuela and Iran were its two main supporters, including Russia too, who's totally distracted. If you look at how people are calling President Trump saying, hey, we're cool, right? Whether it be Kim Jong-un, Putin starting to come to the table now, this is going to transform the way we do world negotiations, just like the terrorists did. President Trump is literally the most influential foreign dealing president probably in the last lifetime. I just don't see anybody since World War II that's transformed the world as much as he has for the benefit of the United States.
Yeah, and on that note, Congressman, I mean, we're only 1 week into this, but I'm thinking about what's on the other side. We've spent so much of our resources in the last 50 years in the Middle East. If there's peace there, we can focus on China. Europe's got Russia, and we can put our thoughts where it should be. This is going to reorient our entire national security operation.
He's gonna say exactly, yeah. But yeah, that's exactly right. And like, people fail to forget, like, Trump does seem to be playing sort of almost 4D chess with this whole thing. He's essentially crippling both China and Russia with all these targeted attacks, as well as also doing great humanitarian work. People tend to forget that, and once again, to bring it back to, the liberals they like to see themselves as the bastions of morality, right? So you've continually got these liberals always quoting platitudes about how they're so concerned about human beings all over the world, how they're so concerned about you know, the plight of other races, of other ethnic groups suffering under oppression. Yet here's Trump actually doing something about it. And they call him an authoritarian. They call him a dictator. He's simultaneously crippling Russia and China, while also doing great humanitarian work. And yet, this is why I think liberals, they would rather side with oppressors. And you can see it now with Iran, right? The liberals are up in arms about Iran because Trump is liberating people. What they really loathe is the fact that he's liberating people from oppressors, because they are fundamentally, they want to be oppressors, and they're just sad that they're not, because obviously Trump won. If Trump somehow gets Venezuela, Cuba and Iran all to fall, he should get a Nobel Peace Prize. I cannot disagree with that. Yeah. Oh, I think we watched that one. Yeah, man, so I honestly do not see anything wrong with this. This is logical. These are logical moves that Trump is playing. These are logical things. He should 100% do this and keep it up. You've got enemies that you can deal with, but because of modern society and international law, which is basically an excuse to actually do nothing, just to sit on your arse and attempt to use diplomacy as the only arrow in your geopolitical quiver, while people around the world are suffering under crazy regimes, and somehow socialists, liberals, leftists, communists will always find some way to just villainize Trump. Villainize people who want to make the world a little bit better for the average Joe, because at the end of the day, the socialists aren't interested in the average Joe. They're interested about power and their back pocket. And yeah, great stuff. And once again, in South Africa, it's exactly no different. This is why the liberals have such an issue with the white farm murders. They have such an issue with the American refugee program for white people and for ethnic minorities that they tend to continually forget. Not just white people, it's also ethnic minorities. And you see the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, continually paint Trump as a racist and a bigot and all of these typical leftist platitudes. And yeah, no, tyranny needs to end. The Western world is experiencing exactly what South Africa's been experiencing. They're only starting to experience it now. We're past all that stuff. Like, it's gone for us. Yeah. We need Trump to come here and sort it out. Like the same as he's done for Iran. It's that far gone. And yeah, if the liberals win once again, UK's heading that way, Europe's heading that way, and America to a lesser extent, but still, the rot is there. You've got the Red-Green Alliance all up in the Western systems. It can't carry on, otherwise you will go the way of South Africa. Anyway, that's all I got. Till next time, cheers.